Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. It's here, guys. The pitch meeting for Rebel Moon Part 1 and spoilers. Okay, spoilers, obviously. When I saw this pop up in my feed, my subscription feed, I'm like, okay, I have to do it. I have to watch it. I'm like, you know what? I'll react to it. It's fine. Look, I wanted to love this movie. I wanted to. The whole idea of Zack Snyder doing a brand new IP, of course, Army of the Dead, his last film, was really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it was crazy, bonkers, and exactly what you'd expect from Zack Snyder. But I just don't love this version of the movie. The reason why I'm saying this version, because I suspect the R-rated over an hour of extended footage, basically the director's cut, which people say, no, this is a director's cut, because Zack got to make this version and the other version. I call it that because it's the longer version and R-rated, the intended what Zack really wanted to do, but I think he did this shorter PG-13 version for Netflix for marketing purposes or something. I don't know, because it didn't really go to theaters, so I don't understand. But I suspect I'll like the longer version. I'm just expecting it. At least I'm hoping that's going to happen, because I like the concept, the idea of the world building they could do within Rebel Moon and this whole new world, right? This movie, I just didn't love it, though. Just didn't love it. You know, there's certain things that I think are pretty interesting, cool, but didn't love it. So let's dive in, guys, and maybe pausing at points depending on what he brings up. There's a lot of things he could potentially bring up here. So let's dive in, guys. Let's watch the pitch meeting for Rebel Moon. Game Talk today. Rebel Moon Part 1.
So, you have a movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. You know it, sir. Amazing. No, I mean, you know it, sir. This movie's mostly comprised of scenes from popular movies you're definitely familiar with. Oh, well, if those movies are popular, that should translate into this one being popular as well. If my calculations are correct, that's exactly right.
Ooh.
Sick. So we're gonna start
Starting out strong.
Some big old lady space parts. What was that? And a big ship flies through the lady parts. Traveling through space privates is tight. And there are some bad guys heading to this moon called Velt, where the main character
that's what it's called?
Some slow-mo farming. The
Can't
farming
remember.
is slow-mo. Yeah, everything's slow-mo, sir. That's the secret to making movies feature-length. What about, like, story or character development? No, it's the slow-mo. That's how you get the runtime. Oh, good to know. So anyway, this big bad guy, Admiral Noble, goes up to the leader of this farming village and does a slightly altered version of that opening scene from Inglourious Bastards. Great scene. Great scene. Yeah, he's got a Nazi uniform and everything. Why disguise it? It's good as is. And he says,
yeah, why not?
Force this whole town to grow him a bunch of grain so he can feed his troops. This big bad guy's doing crop negotiations. Yeah, okay, and then he leaves a bunch of soldiers behind to oversee this whole thing. Okay, and then these soldiers are about to take advantage of this local girl, so Cora reveals she's secretly been a badass this whole time and kills them all. Oh boy. Yeah, there's this robot that was with the bad guys, but he helps her out.
Okay.
He's actually a good robot now, and he's got an amazing voice. Interesting. I want to hear more about this robot. Well, too bad. He runs away and doesn't return till the end of the movie. Oh, dang it. So now the whole town...
Okay, this is a good spot to stop back at slightly here. Wow, right out the gate immediately, like, you're gonna recognize a bunch of scenes from other movies and stuff, and it's okay. You could definitely tell there's a lot of inspiration from other films. Even the plot is, I forget what the movie it is, but someone had mentioned it. It's a sci-fi film that literally is almost kind of the basic plot of this movie, that it was already done decades ago as another sci-fi film. I forget what it was called, Battle Beyond the Stars, or it was something like that. But okay, so yeah, crop negotiations, yeah, that's kind of weird, but that's what he's wanting. And then all these soldiers take advantage of this girl, and that's where Cora, you know, jumps into action and shit. It's like, wouldn't they want to, like, not... I guess they don't care because they're the villains. Like, they really show how evil they are. They just don't give a shit. They're there to watch over the crops. Who cares? Let's just take this girl. I guess they didn't give a shit. I guess the whole point. And then, yeah, Jimmy's like... The robot was there for, like, literally 5 minutes in the whole movie. And it's like, yeah, we want to learn more about this character. And I'm guessing we're going to learn more about him in part 2. But, like, I feel like they could have had him more... Or they could have reworked maybe the movie to have Jimmy more involved. And maybe there's more Jimmy in the extended cut, which would be really crappy, because I would have liked to have learned more about him in this version of the movie. But anyways, so a good start.
Oh, dang it. So now the whole town is like, oh, very cool. Cora's good at punching. Sure sounds that way. So she's like, well, the only way to stop this bad guy and his giant planet-destroying ship is for me to go recruit a couple of reluctant warriors. That makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so her and this guy Gunner go do an alternate version of the cantina scene from A New Hope. Great scene. Great scene. And they meet an alternate version of Han Solo named Kai, who's going to help them out for money. Star Wars is a great movie. I'm glad we're doing it again. Yeah. So then what do they do? This guy takes them on an alternate Millennium Falcon to go recruit their first warrior.
My God.
Oh, yeah, but he's currently a slave, so the slave owner is like, I tell you what, if he
Dark
can
side.
tame this wild beast, you can have him, but if he can't, I get to keep you as slaves. Why would they agree to that? So they agree to that. Oh, my God. Yeah,
why?
They were told that this guy is a beast tamer, so they, risk everything on that. Well, okay then. So then this guy's gonna do an alternate version of that hippogriff scene from Harry Potter. Great scene, and then Buckbeak kills the slave owner, and they
kills Darkseid.
Very exciting. So on the next planet, they meet this other warrior, Nemesis, who has an alternate version.
I want to learn more about her.
Great weapons. And so then she kills this big spider lady, and they all take off to the next planet. Wait, did they even ask her to join? I mean, probably off screen or something. I don't know. All right. So then.
Wait, did they not actually ask her? It was just kind of implied? I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so I want to learn more about her, man. I really want to learn more about her. I really am interested in her character. And obviously it seems we're going to be seeing obviously more of her in part 2, but it's like I want to learn more about her now and here. And the only times we really did was like little bits and pieces here and there. And then of course towards the end when there's the big twist that happens with one of the characters betraying all of them, there's like this beat where they're just giving off other random facts of information on characters. It's like, okay, that was just there just to have more character development, which it really isn't. It's just, okay, learning more about them, but in a weird way. But yeah, I thought this whole scene was cool. I thought it was interesting for sure, but like, I want to see more.
They all take off to the next planet. Wait, did they even ask her to join? I mean, probably off screen or something. I don't know. All right. So then they go recruit the next person. So just to be sure, this is like a montage you're describing, right? Oh, no.
It's the movie.
This is the movie.
It's the movie.
It sounds like that one scene in every heist movie where they like get the team together. Yeah, but with slow motion, we will meet our runtime target. Okay. So they go. But
the runtime target doesn't matter. It's Netflix.
Who is dirty, but then showers and joins them. So is it going to be like fun banter between all the members of this growing team? No.
No. Not really.
Team, you stand quietly in the background as others are recruited. Gotcha. So next they go recruit this guy, Darian Bloodaxe, and he has a sister, and they both run a rebellion or something. So he joins. He joins, and he brings a couple of people with him, and now it's time for the final fight. Wait, do we learn stuff about people? Oh yeah, we'll see. At a certain point, Cora's going to tell her entire story to Gunner. So it turns out she was raised by the space Nazis, and she was one of their top people. But now she's good. She's not with them anymore. What inspires her to share that? Well, she tells them, "I am telling you this so that you know my story." Subtle. So then that Kai guy,
that's not subtle at all.
Silent people who have each individually displayed one skill have inspired me to become good. Oh, nice. Yeah, but then turns out he's not good. He's bad, and he betrays them and sells them out to the Empire or whatever alternate name I come up with. Oh no! So the bad guys trap the good guys in these mechanisms.
This scene right here, all the information.
Gunner to paralyze Cora. What do you mean? Well, there's like this little gun thing, right? And if you put it in a hole, it shoots right into the person's neck. Well, it's gonna be tough for him to get out of that situation.
No, just pulls it out.
Bad guys. Actually, it's going to be super easy.
I figured.
An inconvenience. Oh, really?
I figured.
You see, another thing about this mechanism is that if you turn this gun the opposite way, it releases the prisoner, and then you could kind of use it as a weapon. So he frees Cora and kills Kai. Why would they design that thing that way? So then one by one they free.
So they can just get all out. It's fine.
Are they surrounded by bad guys with guns pointing at them?
Yes.
Yeah, but see, none of them can aim because they're kind of like alternate stormtroopers.
I was thinking the same thing. They're basically stormtroopers. And that's a fair point. I didn't even think about that in terms of like the design of the prison that they're in, like whatever, like that device. You turn it the other way, it releases them. I didn't think about that. It didn't really click in my head at the moment because there's like other things going on in my head. I'm like, well, what's happening? There's so much, and then they can't aim for shit. Fair point. Jesus. Some good points here, as I suspected.
Yeah, but see, none of them can aim because they're kind of like alternate stormtroopers, I guess. Great bad guys. Great bad guys. And then there's this big old fight, and freaking Darian, he dies. Oh no, Darren! Which one? Who was that?
Who was that?
Oh no! And then Cora gets into a big fight with Noble and manages to kill him. Well, good for her. Except the bad guys bring him back to life, so he's going to be back for part 2. Don't you worry about that. That's a good cliffhanger. Are they going to be able to defeat this guy they've killed once already? So then all the good guys go back to that moon, and that robot has antlers now. Cool. And so that's it for part 1. What do you think? Well, it sounds like some content for sure. I just wonder if there's a way to capitalize on this a bit more. Well, this is going to be Zack Snyder, and you know what his fans like. Snyder cuts. Yeah, let's purposefully release a non-Snyder cut first. Very sneaky. I love it. Let's hack this version to bits.
And that's exactly the issue. That's exactly the problem right there. A great job, obviously, by the way. This was really good. So this is the issue, I think, with Netflix's approach to Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2. Is that a full hour longer, Zack Snyder, and how different his R-rated Rebel Moon, which he's already kind of stated at one point that it's like kind of an alternate reality. his R-rated longer cut of part 1, and that's just talking about part 1, not even part 2. Netflix really should not have done what they've done, because I highly suspect, 99.9% sure, the extended hour, a full hour longer version, R-rated version of Rebel Moon is going to be received better than this version, which means, because Netflix never intended for this, like, they had a theatrical premiere, they had a couple of showings, but it really didn't get out in the theaters, really. Like, Netflix never really does that. They've done it, like, bits and pieces, like, what was it, A Glass Onion or whatever, like, that had some screenings, but not really. Like, if Netflix never really intended for Rebel Moon, like, a version of Rebel Moon to go out in theaters, PG-13 or R-rated, whatever, if they had no real intentions of really putting it out there, besides maybe a theatrical screening, which they did, they should have just let Zack put out the original intended version of the movie first, because now I feel a lot of people that watch Rebel Moon that didn't like it. I'm not saying everybody, because there's people who watched the film probably went, okay. People who went and loved it. There's a lot of variety of opinions on this version of the movie. But to the people that went and watched it that did not like part 1, they're really less likely to go back to the extended version. So that's going to hurt them potentially even watching the extended version, the hour-long R-rated version, and then even part 2 coming in a couple of months. I don't know why. I think it's literally because of everyone's been saying Netflix wanted their own version of a Snyder Cut. Twice. They wanted their own version of that. It's a very different situation with the Snyder Cut of Justice League versus this. For the Warner Brothers situation, that was all screwed up and everything, and so Zack finally got his cut. This is a completely separate situation, Netflix. I don't know why you did this. But he brought up a lot of great points. Look, the movie, I think, could have been so much better, and like I said, I think the R-rated extended cut is going to be better, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm still going to watch part 2 regardless of my thoughts for part 1, because like I said, I don't love part 1. I didn't really enjoy the movie as much as I wanted to, but I'm still going to give part 2 a chance, and of course, I'm going to check out the extended cuts when they come out, to hopefully enjoy them better, because I think the idea of this world and what Zack is wanting to do with this world, I think is interesting. It's exciting. It's a brand new IP. The problem is Netflix is kind of butchering it and kind of going, well, you have to put out like a shorter version, PG-13, and cut some stuff out. It's like, it's not good. It's not good. So, what do you guys think of this? Well, first of all, Rebel Moon Part 1. Are you guys gonna watch Rebel Moon Part 2? I can't even talk today. I keep that word, like the words like flowing together. It ain't working well. Rebel Moon Part 1. Gotta talk slower. What you think of the movie? Are you gonna see Rebel Moon Part 2? Are you gonna watch the extended cuts for both parts of Rebel Moon? And what do you think overall about this pitch meeting? I think he did a pretty damn good job, as he always does, but there's a lot of problems. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Like I said, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.